Well, howdy folks, how's it going today? Hope you're all doing really good. Well, we're back on the Harmony here. If you've been following along, we removed the neck off this. Had 5 dowel pins in there, no dovetail. Long story. But anyway, we got it off pretty clean. And I did a bunch of sandpaper pulls in the neck joint on both sides. And I've got an angle that's going to work for me. We converted this to a bolt-on too, so I'll get to that. I'll take the guitar apart here in a second and show you what I did. So right there it looks a little high over the saddle, but when I close up the neck joint at the heel, well, if I can do it and talk and do it all on camera, it comes out pretty much just touching it right before the saddle, right on top of the bridge. So when it's all together and in place where it belongs, it's going to be just right. I made a little shim for the neck, the fretboard extension, excuse me, and we're going to put that in as well. Now the other thing that I like to do at this stage of the game is check for alignment this way. And this is how I do it. Now you can do this with dental floss. You can do it with guitar strings, whatever you would like to use. I'm using stainless steel welding wire. This is used for TIG welding. And I just bend a 90 on them. And pretty much what I'm doing here is just trying to check the alignment of the neck and see what the string path's going to look like. So just to give you some idea, you know, this treble side, sorry about that. The treble side is sitting in a little bit more than the bass side, but it's okay. The bass side could come in just maybe a little bit. Now it does look like it might run off just a whisker down there. So we'll probably make an adjustment that way to make sure it's not going to fall off. Not that you're going to be playing up here, but, you know, as you get up in this area, that could happen. So we'll just move the neck, you know, this way a little bit and make sure we get another reference mark here so we can check it. Now, the reason I like to make this reference mark is because when you're clamping and getting everything set up, you might start clamping this down and, you know, oops, geez, it moved. Well, you're not going to take everything back apart, put these on, recheck it with glue in there. So this is just a quick way to measure back and make sure that you've got it positioned the right way. All right, so let's take it apart and I'll show you what I did as far as the conversion. All right, I got to take the bolt out here and I'll show you guys exactly what I did. Okay, I'm using a bolt too, not an Allen bolt, but a real bolt with a big fender washer, so that way it comes up against the neck block in there and it's not as likely to squish into it. You know what I mean? It should cover more surface area and keep it flat. Then it won't sink into the neck block. Okay, and there's the shim. All right, so what we ended up doing here was putting an anchor in the heel. Okay, that come out good. It's nice and solid. It's in there strong. And I took the dowels that we cut off. I took those little nubs and I plugged these holes up just for strength purposes. And I left a little bit on these two top ones, maybe 1/4 of an inch sticking out. And I kind of rounded them with sandpaper on the ends. And I figured I could use those, you know, for alignment purposes. So I knew I'd always have the option to cut them back off, but as it turns out, it works really well. And it does give it a little bit of extra strength on this kind of weak point, if you will. So that's basically how it works. And once you get that in there, you stick your bolt back in. There we go. And you're in. Now, that does kind of make it nice too for doing this reset as far as gluing this part back on. You know, you can use this bolt to your advantage. You can get it snugged in place exactly where you like it, and it will help hold it there in place. I'm also going to wrap a strap around it, a strap clamp, okay, to push it all together when I glue it. But that bolt can work to your advantage. It really can. And if you didn't have the dowel pins in there, you could even use it to tip things this way, side to side. I do like the fact that these dowel pins ended up working, because it kept it, you know, in line that way for me while I was doing this. So other than that, the guitar is really close to being glued back together. We're just going to glue the fretboard extension. We're not going to glue anything in here. We shouldn't have to. So, you know, once we get that glued down and with the bolt, we should be good to go. There's only one other thing I'm going to need to do to this guitar, and I noticed it had a little bit of a twist in the fretboard here, and it starts from about the 3rd fret back, and it kind of curls up this way. I may end up taking these 3 frets out and planing that down so it's flat, you know, at least matching the radius that is on this fretboard. For simple setup reasons, I mean, I don't want to fight that, like trying to set this up and then you discover it's bad down here, or vice versa. I don't want no buzzy strings down here or anything, so I'm going to probably straighten that out too, and that should be the last thing I should have to do to this guitar other than string it up and play it, see what it does. It's been quite a journey on this one, that's for sure. But I've learned a lot of little tricks along the way too, so that's how you learn. You just got to get in there and get your hands dirty and, you know, do it on an old guitar. Don't do it on somebody's, you know, sentimental piece. You know, your first time. You want to make sure you know what you're doing before you do any of this stuff to someone else's guitar. But, you know, you can pick up a cheap one at Goodwill or beside the road at a lawn sale and, you know, just experiment on it if you've never done it. And that's how you learn, folks, really. So everything come out really good. I'm really happy with this this conversion. It come out a lot better than I expected. You know, I knew I'd at least get to this point, but it really kind of fell together nice, and everything fits really well. So I'm very happy with that. It was not as labor intensive as I thought it was going to be. Although, you know, it took some time and some patience along the way, that's for sure. So anyways, that's the tricks to my little setup procedure as far as doing this stuff. You know, like I said, you can use string, dental floss, guitar strings, whatever you have, but that's what I'm going to do next, is get this straightened out so it's turned the right way. I'll make a new reference mark, and then when I get ready to, you know, put the glue in and get everything ready to go, I can reference that without having to do this, and should be good to go. Well, thanks again for watching, folks. I hope this information helps you guys out if you're just starting out or trying to learn this kind of stuff. Like I said, I recommend trying it on something that, you know, you're not going to get, you know, all teary-eyed if you mess it up. You know, don't do anything that's sentimental. Find an old one and just kind of tinker on it. After you do a few of them, you'll figure out how it works and get the right tools gathered up to do the jobs, and, you know, you should be able to get going on it yourself. All right, folks, thanks again. We'll see you real soon. Be good. Okie doke.